You don't just want to build a following, you want to build a community. I think now more than ever, we're all seeking for this sense of belonging, whether it's online, in person, the whole thing. And it's so easy to chase the numbers on social media, but to build something real that feels human and that connects with people can be pretty difficult. So in this video, I want to run through a new perspective on growth and some practical steps that you can take to build a real community around your brand and to build something that feels human and that actually connects with people. I think when we all start out on social media, we see these people with big accounts going viral, all their content's popping off. And we have this perception that that's what needs to be happening with me and my brand as well. I need to have 1 million followers. I need to be getting millions of views or hundreds and thousands of views on every piece of content. But the issue is that when we go on this journey and we start creating more and more, we seek out the styles of content that are just virality based. And you can land up building a brand that is just completely disconnected from you, your mission, and what you're able to actually help people with. There's creators out there that have 500,000 followers and they can't pay rent at all. But then there's people with 100,000 or 10,000, making $10,000 a month. And it's all about cultivating a really strong community and a strong connection with your audience. So it's not about having a massive audience. It's about choosing and curating the right audience of people who connect with you, people that you could go and have a coffee with. There's this concept called the 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly. And it basically states that all you need is 1,000 true people, true fans that care about you and what you do to be able to make a sustainable and thriving business. I think a lot of us are so fixated on needing to get more people into our audiences, right? Like, how can I make content that reaches more people? Although there is a time and place for it, we neglect the people that are already following us and truly serving those people. So instead of thinking of like, how can I just constantly get and reach more people, switch your perception to, okay, I have this audience already, whether it's 5 people, 500 people, 5,000 people. Sit down and be like, what can I truly do to serve these people and help them create a transformation in their own lives? And focus on curating that audience of 1,000 true fans, a strong connected community, instead of trying to go viral and no one understands who you are or the transformation you can bring about in their lives, and they have no real connection to you. A really easy way to test this with your brand is like, if you disappear tomorrow, would your followers miss you? And the degree to which that is true or not kind of indicates if you're cultivating a community with your brand or if you're just landing on empty ears and no one really connects with your message. So around last year, I was building out my personal brand on Instagram in Sweden, and I was growing by 500 to 1,000 followers a week. It was really crazy for me because I felt like all of this effort, time, and energy I was putting in, like, it was compounding and things were flipping. It was the most amount of views I'd ever had. It was the most amount of followers I had ever had. And I was blown away by it. But I also had it was also one of the lowest points in my life. I felt so lonely. And there was a strong contrast between, I had all these followers coming in and I was like growing a brand, but I felt the loneliest I've ever felt in my life. And it was all because I didn't have a sense of belonging. I was in a new country with, I had friends, some friends that I met around uni, but no one I connected with deeply. And I was by myself a lot of the time, and I realized this concept of like the need for us as individuals, humans, to have a sense of belonging. And that's what your audience is looking for too, They want to feel seen, that they've found their space, their corner in the internet. So once I realized this, I actually really slowed down on trying to chase all these viral videos. I still did them to have a sense of like growth with my account, certain ones that worked for me but still felt authentic. But I actually started this series called Authentic Creator Chats. And that series like transformed my brand and created a community of such incredible people that I never thought it would. And it was all about me just sitting down, showing up authentically. And by authentically, I mean being vulnerable, showing struggles, like showing that I'm a human, because we all are. We all are humans. We all go through struggles, and we have all these things that go on in our lives, but none of us actually share it online because we want to have this polished, curated look. But through that polished, curated look, you lose the sense of community, you lose the sense of connection. So when I was sitting down and I was just showing up and being myself, it was insane. I saw the engagement go up on my posts. I saw people reaching out and really connecting with me, and so many opportunities came from it. And even though the posts weren't necessarily like top performing by views standard, the opportunities and responses I got from them were meant so much more. And I realized when you start sharing things that are human, sharing parts of your story, that's when people start to connect and relate to you and what you do, and you form this sense of community, and people feel like they're part of your corner of the internet. So in terms of practical takeaways and ways that you can do this, like share something that you're struggling with online. You don't need a trauma dump, but you can just be open, honest, and vulnerable about it. Reach out to new followers that come in. Pop them a voice note. The first couple thousand of people that came to my account when it started growing, I'd actually voice note them and just say, thank you so much for being a part of my community and trusting me with your time and blah, 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 blah. It's these little things that you start to connect with people. Like, that's what social media is for, is to create this sense of connection. So when I shifted from needing to chase virality to how can I truly serve the people in my audience as much as I can? How can I start connecting with them and forming relationships with them and building a community? I felt like my brand just started growing naturally, and the growth was actually exponential. I think a lot of that was because I was allowing myself to just show up as a human online, and people resonated with it and connected with it. So I really encourage you to do the same. Brands and communities aren't built on perfection. They're built on imperfection. Showing your flaws, your scars, and just being real. I think that's what we need now more than ever on social media. So I really, really encourage you to give it a try, and allow yourself to just be expressive and share your thoughts and opinions and connect with those people in your audience. Find a way to make that a priority. And by making that a priority, you'll be able to cultivate something so powerful of a bunch of people, whether it's that 1,000 true fans that you could go and grab a beer with each and every one of them. And if you don't drink, maybe a coffee. Because I think that's what we need in this world right now, is connection and community, whether that's with your online brand, whether that's in person with friends, family, but just prioritizing that human connection. So to tie it all in together, you don't need that 1,000,000 followers. You don't need 100,000 followers. You just need to cultivate a strong community of people that care. And if this is something that you're interested in hearing more about, and you want more like unfiltered talks, uh, lessons I've learned, etc., I'm going to leave a link where you can sign up to my newsletter or my email list. I send weekly emails, a couple times a week, where it's literally that. It's just my thoughts and my lessons as I grow and develop as a 24-year-old entrepreneur building a business. And yeah, I really hope that you found this valuable. Leave a like and subscribe. And if you are part of the 20% of people that are still watching, comment 20% down below. I really, really appreciate you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.